Number 1.
Number 2.
Number 3.
Number 4.
Number 5.
Number 6.
When we talk about exotic pets, you probably think something like lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. But actually, states consider any non-native species exotic. Recently, a number of people and organizations have been calling for the ban of the sale of exotic animals over the internet and in pet shops. There certainly tragedies have occurred, and this may seem like a necessary step, but this is not the case. I've loved exotic animals all of my life. I've had everything from the simple guinea pig to the demanding green iguana. These animals have not only enriched my life, but given me an education into their own unique lives. Without these experiences, would I care as much about recycling and conservation as I do? I love the animals of this world and take pains to share its limited resources with them. Had I never been allowed to keep exotic species, I'm not sure this would be the case. I'm not saying that things are fine as they stand. Something definitely needs to be done. And in the following presentation, I will tell you exactly what that something is. First, we'll discuss the problem of easy access to potentially dangerous animals. Then we'll propose a solution to this problem and explain why this solution is not the ban of all exotic animals. Then we'll discuss a three-pronged approach to dealing with irresponsible exotic animal owners. And finally, we'll discuss the consequences of allowing this problem to continue by discussing tragedies that have occurred involving exotic animals. Let's start by taking a look at the problem. Exotic animals are potentially dangerous. According to the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals at ASPCA.org, thousands of people, including children, have been seriously injured or even killed by exotic pets. And exotic pets can also cause damage to ecosystems that were never intended to support them. Again, the ASPCA tells us that people turn these animals loose, allowing them to spread diseases to or to kill native species. And let's not forget the danger to the animals themselves when kept by owners who do not know what they are doing. The ASPCA tells us that when owners are unable to provide for the needs of their pet, these animals often die from inadequate care. Given all of this, you would think the general public would not have easy access to these animals. Unfortunately, you would be wrong. The online trade in exotic pets is booming. ExoticPetCenter.com lets you buy servals, medium-sized African wildcat. You can also buy your exotic pet in person. Want a possum? Just visit S&S Exotic Animals, billed as Houston's unique pet shop. These animals cost thousands of dollars, and that does keep them out of the hands of some, but if you have enough money, these shops will sell their animals to anyone. Now that we've established that there is a problem, let's take a look at what we can do about it. Most people believe that banning the sale of exotics is the solution to this problem. Groups like the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals at PETA.org and the ASPCA urge everyone to support legislation of this type. However, animal lovers like myself do not believe that this is appropriate. The National Alternative Pet Association at altpet.net is dedicated to the safety and health of the exotic animal industry, the general public, and the exotic animals themselves. Another group, Responsible Exotic Animal Ownership at rexano.org, says that as long as animal welfare and public safety laws are being followed, private ownership of these animals should be protected in the U.S. Like these groups, I believe rather than banning the sale of exotics, the answer is rather to regulate the industry. Let's take a look at how we can implement that regulation. I support a three-pronged approach to regulating the exotic pet industry: education, registration, and penalization. The first step in solving the problem is education. Potential exotic pet owners should be required to undergo some sort of education before they are allowed to purchase exotic pets. This is something that responsible pet owners would do on their own anyway and could be implemented in a manner similar to defensive driving courses. Before I took on my male green iguana, who can grow to over 6 feet long, I did extensive research. To have done otherwise would have been irresponsible. The next step is requiring owners to register their pets. This wouldn't necessarily have to involve a fee and would allow the community to keep track of a potential hazard. This could be implemented in a manner similar to the permits required for gun ownership. The final step would be penalization. If pet owners cannot be bothered to follow the rules put in place by their community, there must be a price to pay. This could be implemented in a manner similar to the way traffic violations are, with fines and suspension of certain privileges used as deterrents. For example, Some people who keep exotic animals do not house them properly. I had to build my iguana his own room. Exotic owners who do not provide proper enclosures for their pets would be subject to fines or, if necessary, removal of their animals. Finally, let's take a look at what will happen if we do not take any action. It isn't hard to imagine the consequences of ignoring this problem. People are hurt or even killed, and not necessarily by animals we normally think of as dangerous. A man in Waxham, Texas was killed by one of his pet deer, a European red stag. The environment can also suffer. In Florida, feral green iguanas who have either escaped or been turned loose by their owners create a multitude of problems, from pooping in swimming pools to burrowing under sidewalks, not to mention the damage to their local ecosystem. And let's not forget the suffering of the exotic animals themselves. We all saw on the news the recent tragedy in Ohio when 48 animals had to be shot after they were turned loose by their suicidal owner. Who didn't cringe at the thought of rare Bengal tigers having to be shot? I couldn't even look at the images. Let me conclude by reminding you of the points that we have discussed tonight. Irresponsible exotic animal ownership in the United States is a problem that requires regulation. Exotic animals pose a variety of dangers to their owners, to the communities, and not to mention the dangers posed to the animals by their irresponsible owners. Access to potentially dangerous animals is easier than ever, with both online and in-person pet shops offering a variety of strange creatures for sale. Many people believe the solution is to ban exotic pets. However, animal lovers disagree and suggest instead that we regulate the industry. I propose a three-pronged solution of education, registration, and penalization to address this concern. What's clear is that if we don't do something, tragedies like the ones in Texas, Florida, and Ohio will only continue to occur. With proper regulation, we can ensure that these fascinating pets will be available for future generations to love and enjoy. Questions?
You said you had an iguana. Where did you get it?
Well, actually, I had a coworker whose daughter had gotten him as a hatchling when he was only about this long, and he got too big for them to take care of, and I offered to take him off their hands. I mean, she didn't want him to, any bad end to come to him. She at least found him a new home.
Oh. Okay, I have a question. You said that you've owned several different animals. What kind of animals have you owned?
And I don't have time to go into all of them, but I've had a flying squirrel, geckos, various snakes, lots of different stuff, birds, just about anything that's small.
It's a lot.
Rats, mice.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Do you think there's a difference when it comes to exotic animals between like something like a tiger or a lion and like, your iguana?
Yeah, I think that there is a line. I mean, I don't think most people are equipped to handle a tiger.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there should be distinctions drawn between, very large exotic
Yeah, like
animals.
a ferret and
a
wolf.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Everybody do the number again.
All right. Number 1.
Number 2. Number 3.
Number 4.
Number 5.
Number 6.
As long as I didn't go over, that's good. Thank you. You persevered.